Welcome to lesson 5 of our Scratch programming unit. We're going to be looking at iteration in this lesson. Here are our keywords. Hopefully you should have a good understanding of all these keywords already. The key questions for today are: what are iteration, how does iteration improve the efficiency of a game, and what is the structure of iteration? What does it look like in Scratch? So task number 1. This is a little bit of a recall task for you. I want you to go to your programming workbooks, your student workbooks, and find this slide. If you scroll down to lesson 5, slide 27, the first thing I want you to do is look back at your iteration programming postcard. What do you think iteration is, and how did we use it in Logo? Once you've done that, you're going to find a new game, a new Scratch game, and there's a hyperlink in the bottom right hand corner of this screen. I want you to try this game. Then I want you to explain what is used in the game for iteration, how is iteration used, and then finally, why is iteration essential for this game? The link should take you to this page, and remember you can click See Inside for more details. Please pause the video and try to complete this task. You should have completed this task, so let's have a look at the answers for this game. Let's see inside first of all. You should have seen this game creates a kaleidoscope. Now, there's a little bit of a hint here for you. Where do we see iteration? Now, if we look through our code, there's a lot of code here, and I've done this on purpose. The idea is you should be able to spot iteration in code. Now, we know iteration is a loop. You should have remembered that. And in here, we can see forever. This is our loop. This code is repeating again and again and again and again. There are some comments in here to help you to try to explain what the code does. And why is iteration essential for this game? Well, if we get rid of this forever loop and just put it back together again and run it, it's not going to work because it's not looping round the code. Here are our answers. What is iteration? It's code that is repeated, or a loop. In Logo, remember we used repeat for, or repeat value, a number, a variable, that repeated the code again and again. This was a square. In this code, remember, we use forever loops, and it's essential, otherwise the game would just stop and wouldn't work. We have a careers focus in this lesson. Now, if you're interested in games developer or games design, then there's a video linked in your student workbook to talk to you a little bit more about that. The average salary you'd probably get is between 40 to 60,000 a year, and to become a games developer you would be creating, developing, testing games for companies. So you'd have a client who would bring you an idea to you, you'd make that game, you'd build it, and then you'd make sure you test it to debug it. To get to a games developer there are several different routes. You could go in looking at the graphics. And if you're interested in the graphics, you could potentially do creative iMedia at GCSE. If you're interested in the actual coding of the game, you'd want to go and look at computer science GCSE and then computer science A-level. So we've now got our first task. We're going to be trying to make a kaleidoscope. And this is what I want it to look like. Ours is a simpler version. When I click go, we use the keys up, down, left and right to create shapes which will spin around just like this, and we can make all sorts of kaleidoscope shapes. Here's the game that you're going to be working on. When we use our arrow keys, you can see only 2 of the kaleidoscope parts work, so you're going to have to fix this. If I click See Inside, you can see I've got some forever loops. Now, you might want this to work automatically. So rather than actually having to click, as soon as the game starts, it's going to start drawing for you. So I want you to see if you can do that. Pause the video and try and finish this now. Okay, here's the solution. This is dead simple. All we need to do is place forever loops around each of these. So you'll see, once we start going, it should run forever. Now I need to keep putting my forever loops around here, so it should work. So when I click green, they are now all working. So on your slide, please take a print screen of your work and explain how you fixed it in your student workbook. Remember, there is a hint you need to add forever, and there is an extension. So can you add these extensions to your code? There is a solution. Let's have a quick look. Now, if you remember, we should have been adding iteration to our code. Let's have a look inside my project. When I click go, you can see the loops carry on and we can make some really nice patterns. Now remember, we should have added for if around our loops. Your final task of this lesson is to go back to your iteration programming postcard. You need to explain how you can use iteration in Scratch.